Let me fix this real quick. Oh. Okay. All right. Hello. This is Alexander Wales. What are we doing today? My microphone closer. We are writing Exclusions doc. It is going to be. I'm trying to do two. We're going to see how much energy I have. Yeah, I just had it on the wrong capture. That's definitely a my bad type situation. I'm definitely gonna try to do two today, but we'll see how it goes. The first of which is going to be Datura Desert slash Baron Jewel, as featured in the web novel Worth the Candle. So, DD Easy, it is major. I did write a short story last night that if you have not checked it out, you should check it out. It's like 3,000 words. Oh god, this white border. Sometimes Dark Reader... Like, Dark Reader is how I have dark mode in docs, because they were... They might have changed it to have dark mode, and I just don't know. But I've been using Dark Reader for a lot, and I use it on every website. To save my eyes. But sometimes it has a white border on docs. Yeah, that short... I wrote... So part of why I'm not sure I can do two today is I wrote a ton yesterday. I wrote not the majority of the Dungeons chapter that just came out, but quite a bit of it. And I wrote on stream, and I wrote that short story over the course of like 2 or 3 hours. And I think it was like 12,000 words that I wrote, plus more dungeons, like for the chapter due Monday. So I wrote like 12,000 words yesterday, which reminds me I should do my hand stretches, but my hand was actually more or less fine. I need a date on not Carolina, White Candom. No, it is Carolina. I always get these two confused. They don't have similar names at all, but they're in very similar places in the story. So I don't know if there's a date for Datura Desert, but I definitely should have done this before stream because it is boring. Okay, I think this is like post-Utherian, but not by that much. I'm just going to put a date in for now and try to write around it, which is not a great idea. I think this might... This might be post-Second Empire. We're going to say it does for now. Like, I know that there's a passage in there that I just, like, do not remember because I'm going to say 331 that this is a post-collapse one. Okay, this is this a double exclusion? I think this is like... Okay, I'm gonna open up a tab and I'm gonna check the Q&A that I did for this. Worth the Candle Q&A. Okay. Apparently does not exist. I should submit to a magazine. Yeah. I might do that. I think they don't take the stuff that's been published online, so like that ship has now sailed. But I only spent like I had the idea. Well, no, I had read the comment and I was like, yeah, that is a great idea. And then I posted about it in Discord at like 8:30, and then I put my boy to bed and watched an episode of Taskmaster New Zealand, and I watched some stuff. I like made some tea and stuff, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna write this, get it out. It'll be a short version of what could have been a longer like novel or short novel length type thing. But I only spent like 2.5 hours on it, so um, whatever. It can be out there for people to enjoy. Well, that is still a thing that happens. Oh. Okay. But this right here. Is this a double exclusion? I think that this has been a confusing point, and I didn't answer it. I don't know why. It was one of those things where I had originally conceived this as a double exclusion, but they never call it a double exclusion in the text. So why is this double exclusion? So you have these Thumb Seekers, which are like these magical beasts that are like sucking up magic from all around, including latent magic that's killing plants and stuff. It is not well. It says that Alvion's magic does that, right? Here I'm gonna just type some stuff, get thoughts in order. You know, writing is a great way to organize your own thoughts. So features. We have the Thumb Seekers. They're called Thumb Suckers originally, which I found funny. I forgot about that. Thumb Seekers will race towards any non-latent. Sorry, I'm gonna do a hand exercise before I start. We have extreme and rapid desertification. I need to double check the there is a specific thing in one of these chapters. It's not. Sand magic is the time magic, I think. Here, let me double check that. But sand magic is what lets the hyperbolic time chamber work. Yeah. So there is sand magic. It just does not have all that much to do with sand. Oh, 2 relevant lines concerning the date. I would love to see those. I'm scrolling through real quick to try to find. Great-great-grandfather. I think that tracks with the date that I put, actually. Does it? Great-great-grandfather. So there's 200 years ago, 50 years per generation. Her father was born 50 years ago. Her grandfather was born 100 years ago. Her great-grandfather would be born 150. I mean, it's. I think that this date still works. I'm going to move it up by 50 years. We'll say 371. I used to have a full list of her lineage. Unfortunately, at the time, I was writing Word the Candle on a crappy laptop in the basement, and I had a big table down there. I still do, but I had a big table that was a gaming table that has like a grid cut into it and then filled in with like an epoxy pour. So you have like all these nice grid lines, and the entire huge table is like a gaming table for D&D. And you can move your characters along the grid. I had a friend who does woodworking make it for me, like ages and ages ago. And one of the cool things about it was I had a bunch of dry erase markers that worked on it. So you could just draw directly onto the table and stuff like that. And when I was writing, I put a lot of stuff down just on that, because I had this tiny laptop screen. I didn't have room to I didn't have two monitors or anything. But I would write in dry erase on that table. And so I had a lot of those early notes are just totally lost to me. Because they got like carelessly erased, or like I smudged them with my hand and stuff. So I've definitely had to reconstruct those 10 generations a few times. I'm gonna say 371. I believe the distribution of generations is that they didn't start out being long. Okay, I'm actually gonna put this back to 331. That means, okay, let's say the exclusion happens to a 30-year-old guy. He has a kid when he's like 60. That would be 361. His kid has a kid when he's 60. It would be 420. He has a kid when he's 60. It would be 480. And he has a kid when he's... No, I think this works. I think this works younger. I'm not going to be super specific about this, like, because it doesn't matter. But I think this is in the right age range. Okay, moving on. Thank you very much for tracking that down. Turns out I just guessed, and that was enough. The exact quote I'm looking for is what protects Baron Jewel. And I know for certain that it is when Juniper races across the desert and burns a bunch of bones, which was at the end of Rocket Man. So I'm just trying to find that real quick. There's something I maybe should have done before stream, but whatever. It's part of the writing process is tracking that stuff down. Okay, yes, it is the protection of Albian's word. Okay. Okay, these are the 4 features of this. And I am going to write this as a double exclusion, and I'm going to hope that that is fine. Like, frankly, the exclusion stock could use a second double exclusion. But this was never stated in the text to be a double exclusion. The idea that it is was something I had as a starting point for it, but I think I just like never explained it, and it kind of like doesn't matter within the text, except that possibly the fact that there's this lost magic. Okay, I think we are going to have a brief debate on whether this is we're going to call it Albion stuff. Parsemont is an exclusion. Whether the text says that is, I guess I don't know one way or another. Oh, when they went there, it was never mentioned, yeah. But, like, why? I was going to say, why would you mention it? I guess you would mention it because it's relevant, but it's kind of not relevant. Like, whether it's an exclusion zone isn't relevant. That it is a specific geographically located magic is relevant. But it being an excluded magic, like, that specific term is kind of not... I should, like, change my... I'm not going to do it now, but I should change mine. Like, have a different icon or symbol or something. I should get, like, a candle icon for Twitch. I just realized I have the default thing. Okay, nature. We're going to say thousands, I think the official stance of this document is going to be that Alvion's word and whatever is either an exclusion or so similar to an exclusion that it makes sense to use the same word. And we don't use horrifying, we stay slightly more academic. Gotta check whether this is hyphenated, and I feel like this got... Oh, it is hyphenated. It's just always hyphenated. Found seeker. Nothing. Okay. Found dash seeker. Yeah, I really like that non-overlapping aspect of it. I like the idea that exclusion is not, like, first of all, there's a political thing, and like there are political borders of the zone that don't necessarily match up with the actual borders of the magic, and then like people don't always know what is an exclusion and what's not. We've had, I think, a couple that like poke at some of the ways in which knowledge is incomplete and poke at the boundaries and stuff like that. This is definitely one of those things that I should have answered early on, but I was writing as CRJ during this period. I don't remember when I linked that identity to my. I was gonna say my actual identity, but like Alexander Wales is not my actual identity either, except that it's linked to my real identity as well. But Alexander Wales is like not my real identity, but it's used in so many things that it. The desertification, I think, will be mentioned in history. And the nothing growing there. But yeah, the Alexander Wales pseudonym gets used for so much that it, like, in terms of personal identity, swamps like my real name. And sometimes, like, it's how I communicate with. Does it boost my fame? Like, as an Illustrati, yes, it would. I really do want to write Shadows of the Limelight too. My planning doc for that is just like things I've thought about. It's always stuff like parasocial relationships and the like need to create and the ways in which the stuff that you create is a reflection of you, and sometimes that's not good commercially or even creatively. Okay, I gotta check the Tour Desert on the map, but I believe this map is so handy. I've been using the word vibrant a lot because of the AI art stuff. Most of them seem to understand vibrant and like give me the result I want when I used it. Okay. There are rocky cliffs, which is what Kerlog is built on, yeah. So I don't think we say plains. Although you can have. I guess I don't know enough about biomes to say that for certain, but oh, what's the other country called? Come on, coffee, do your work. Okay, is it mentioned in here? I think it is. If we find Risen Lands. Francorum. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Francorum. Is there a large delay, or does it take a while to find? It's not. You might be wondering who the Bretts are. They've never been mentioned before. They're the people who are from this continent. How's it back? Okay, I'm not gonna fix it, or I'm not gonna fix it right now. Okay, I'm gonna look right now. But it's like if I have to like change that every single time, I'm gonna be a little bit. It says low latency, so I'm gonna assume that this is just Discord or not Discord, Twitch being dumb. Okay, so mostly I'm gonna try to write and just not look at chat. So. What is a karst? Do I know? Show me. No, just show me some. Don't talk to me about soluble rocks. Show me some actual karsts. Okay, I'm not going to use that word because I don't want to conjure up images of this. I want to conjure up. I want to conjure up like big diabase slabs. Here, we're just going to say rocky. Subdued. Oh, Brett. Um, Here, we're going to say that. That was a thing I was thinking about last night. Just add double with an asterisk. I do try to write these while I'm getting sleep, which is a little counterproductive towards sleep, but I had the full 8 hours last night, so oh, excuse me. We're going to say 6 months. If I remember my lore right, they knew that this was coming. And Carelaga was in the process of being built. And then they saw this exclusion kind of coming. This kind of slow exclusion. They're like, well, we're just going to finish building this thing instead of abandoning it. It's going to become... We'll put up a bunch of wards, and there will be... a redoubt or some kind of fallback fortress that we can get to through various means that provides like a safe place. So Carelaga wasn't abandoned. I mean, it was abandoned, but it wasn't. It was sort of set up as a cache or a hidey hole. And hopefully I'm remembering my lore right. Yeah, no, if there's a latency issue, it's definitely not on my end. Ping. Second largest exclusion. Not hard. Excluded magic was something nobody used. I think that's what I'm going with. Excuse me. Neutrifying a I'm not doing a fart joke there. I just like farced. Probably because I heard the word karst and I was like, yeah, you can just use that as a name. Like I'd heard the word karst before, but when I guess I get a different image for karst in my head than what Google was showing me. So maybe I just like I know it was a rocky thing. I think I was picturing like the rocky way that some farms are instead of just huge amounts of rocks everywhere. They do. They work when played by a record player. We'll get to that later in features. Right, something cheese factory. Get a little air in here. I'm gonna say similar. Oh man, it's so tempting to just go on Discord because I feel like there's more like chapter stuff for me to read. I usually like reading the discussion unless it's a bad chapter, and then and I'm like, no, I don't need to read like 300 messages. If people aren't like feeling it, I just go do something else. But and I don't usually read the comments on the Royal Road anymore. I did that for a while, and then I was just like, meh. But yeah, I have a comment harvest waiting for me. Okay. I'm gonna just type farts every time. I have the muscle memory for farts. Yeah, China has. I think of it as like a kind of a Chinese thing. I think those that area that they used for filming Avatar. I think that was technically a karst. But again, my knowledge of what a karst is very vague. I'll look it up after the stream if I remember. Okay, man, I do have like a couple things rolling around in the brain. So yes, Avatar was filmed in. I'm not gonna make an attempt at that. I've been doing my Korean again. Not really liking it because it's too difficult. But I'm hoping that knowing Korean is going to help with because they have like Chinese loanwords and obviously a lot of Japanese too. I'm hoping that my Asian pronunciations will get a little bit better if I keep up with the Korean. And if I pronounce Chinese words like a Korean, that would be hilarious. Um, I'm going to say third spell. Yes, we do call Alvian's flesh, Alvian's blood, Alvian's word. Alvian is a. I think I'm going to get there. I think I think that's going to be the last part of history, but I think he's more of a, not a Robin Hood necessarily, but like, yeah, almost a religious figure. There's he's like a folk hero. Um, um, Hexwide is dumb. Consumption. This has less character, but I think it's better. Okay, I think. Right. This is. I think I'm gonna get there. The universal spells are definite early installment weirdness, but my policy, at least for Worth the Candle, is to not sand out those. There's a spell that is described as like cracking an egg over your head, I think, that you can just use to get to sleep right away. And there are not very many of those. I had to keep it small because otherwise you start having too many warping effects. But yes, you can cast a spell to get to yourself to sleep. Mentioned very, very early on in the story when they were still. I think it's when Juniper and Amaryllis are traveling through Risen Lands. But this is like a rare remention of that. I didn't. It was one of those things I debated removing in the edit. It's like, does this make sense? But there are, yes, universal spells, and I think that one actually does get brought up enough times it's worth leaving in, but here is another mention of universal spells. Okay, I think this is fine. I think this is fine and interesting, but we need more on the Thumb Seekers. So just delete, delete, delete. Undefined. Why did he die? We're gonna say undefined. I think the spell being taxing is like the default reading. But I'm just gonna leave it at that. Well, so they didn't prevent magical changes to the world. Kind of. It takes. I ran the economics on this when I first did it. Is more dry erase marker math, but I did the math on it, and like bulk teleport roughly compares to like bulk shipping, so you have a lot of like last mile problems and stuff that mean that you still have to pay for food and cheese and stuff if you're outside Baron Jewel. I mean, so it doesn't prevent this radical change. It just puts a floor on how cheap food can be because of the teleportation and last mile problems and logistics and stuff. Like, the world would look different if everyone could have food instantly in their hands at no cost. If they have to pay the, like, relatively low amount, that's different. So it is similar in that sense. While it's unclear whether these spells are excluded, a geographically confined magical effect with high impact so closely maps to exclusion. I'm just going to grab a description from here. I'm obviously not going to plagiarize myself. Clawed feet. Surely. There it is. I was like, broken bone, that must be from when someone fell. No. The blight does not affect the mortal species at all, no. Red dog-like form. Terrible claws. Okay. Yeah. Last mile stuff can be. I think I at one time did make an estimate for how much Baron bread would cost for the people, like with an obol being roughly $1. But I don't have that math handy, and I'm not sure I wrote it down. I think it might have just been a comment somewhere that would be difficult to find. see if there's miles per hour for these. We're gonna say 30 miles an hour. Minutes, or we'll say seconds. We'll say moments. Yeah. Does Baron Jewel have an airport? I feel like this is not mentioned in the text. I'm not going to mention it here. Right. They can leap to hit low-flying aircraft. They like absolutely can just like launch themselves straight up in the air. If I can get a sanity check on this 30 mile per hour thing, because that's one of the things where if you quote an exact number, you gotta think about it, and you gotta like try to make sure it actually works. Well, I didn't know. 30 does seem low. I didn't know how fast Juniper was was traveling when he was running. And I was trying to think, like, how fast is it realistic for Juniper to have traveled, because it's the only time that their speed is really mentioned. Like, running 60 miles an hour seems... You know what? Let me... Okay, Usain Bolt runs 30 miles an hour, so Juniper needs to be faster than that. We'll say 60. We'll say twice as fast as the fastest man alive. Yeah, we're gonna go 60. Does Baron Jewel have a trade in Thumb-Seeker Bones? I guess. I mean, like, you could kill the Thumb-Seekers. Like, set up a little kill box for them. That would probably work. And yeah, 60 is also, like... You need to be... If you're, like, driving in a, like, Jeep across the desert, 60 is pretty freaking fast for that. To, like, maintain that speed over... not roads. And you need to get up to that speed before you leave. Okay, I feel better about 60. But it's also, like, not super important. This was the original idea, by the way. This never got put to text, but the idea was that it's part of a life cycle. The current accepted theory. Do thumb seekers have souls? No. They are not. They are just creatures. I think we're gonna leave it at that. I think this is more or less what I want. This whole zone is like an extended part of what's now book 1. 1,000 words. That's fine. I think this is one of those that's kind of boring because it's in the book, but I think this gives the. I think with the good picture, I'll be happy with this. I don't think it gives terribly much information, so this is more boring if you read Worth the Candle. We are going to move on. Am I doing a second? That's like 1,000 words over an hour. That's fine. I'm going to be right back. I'm actually not going anywhere. I'm just going to read. Some notes and stuff. So I'm gonna come back after like 2 minutes or so to not be writing. Read some comments and make sure that there's nothing I need to respond to. No errors and stuff. So I'm gonna say 5 minutes. I could try to figure out how to add a timer here, but just a very short intermission. Go get some tea or something. Okay, that's all my stuff caught up on. I'm mostly just like, I could feel that itch. I was like, oh, I can just like read comments and stuff. It's part of the feedback loop of writing, which I enjoy. And I had nothing to respond to. Like, I had stuff to respond to, but nothing that needed attention. Okay, what are we working on now? This is stream part 2. We are going to do 2 today. I'm feeling up for it. We'll see. I'm mostly happy with this Baron Jewel one. I saw there was a thing on reducing stream delay, but I will try to get that done for next time. I find it very, very annoying that you can't just be like, hey, give me as low a latency as possible. I also don't know why it's doing this now, but... we'll see. Okay, so what are we doing next? We are doing Lava Exclusion. This is going to be a Dwarf 1. Let me double check. And then this is like right here. Baron Reef. We did Baron Jewel, we're going to do Baron Reef now. And that is its name, yes? Yeah. Ooh, except BREZ. Do I have that? Brez. This would be better for a battle royale. Easy. Okay, I'm not going to do that one, though. Take that out. There, I've rolled for the date, 254 FE. I mean, bring that in line with the other stuff. Okay. The Baron Reef Exclusion Zone. And this is major? Oh yeah, it is major. I don't know why I had trouble finding that last time. Okay, and I gotta check. I don't have a flow magic here, which is, I think, what lava magic is going to be. Let me open up God Game real quick. I should just keep it open because it's, like, super useful. Nope, not in fiction. We do D&D, God Game planning, browsing. So I do this off screen because I've got a bunch of stuff I don't want you to see. Okay. Flow M. Lava mages. Oh, it is called lava mages. This was... I'm going to read this real quick. I guess out loud. Sure. Lava mages utilize the flow. They carry rocks around with them, which they move in circles to heat. Once they've made enough rotations and become hot enough, and the rocks become hot enough, they turn liquid, and the lava mage can maintain their circles in the air. They use these like whips and shields, altering the flows to do harm. It takes quite some time for them to spin up and spin down, but once they're ready, they're formidable fighters. And then this was the prompt, or this was the like plot hook, because I don't know why I wrote so many freaking plot hooks. Into this document that like we weren't going to do all these, right? So whatever. I'm sure this is just world building for its own sake or storytelling for its own sake. But no one ever got to see these except I guess not even the players saw this one. I think I had this. Maybe this document is still public. I would hit share, but unfortunately, the way Google does that is not the way I like, because I think that exposes email addresses, which is not a huge deal. But a lava mage wishes to plumb a volcanic temple from the height of the First Age, but while his magic can protect him from the lava, the sustained movements necessary to keep him safe would make it impossible to loot anything. And if there are foes in the depths, he worries that they'd be utterly immune to any magic he could bring to bear. He thinks that he could protect a team to come with him, though this leaves the possibility of a double cross once they're near the end, since he can bring the lava rushing in. That's a good plot hook. I like that one. I know I wrote it, and it's there is something a little cringe about reading something that you wrote like 5 years ago and being like, "Ooh, I'm such a good writer," but this is a great plot hook for this specific magic. You're like, yeah, we can control lava, but like, I need you to help me go into this lava temple. So it's like kind of an escort mission, but it's an escort mission with like consequences or a double cross. I could see myself running at least a session with that. Okay, so I think I'm gonna try to keep the same thing. Oh, I love this. Flash volcanoes. I gotta bring that up. I gotta bring that up here. I had totally forgotten flash volcanoes. Yeah, okay, maybe we'll do like a note from Raven on. I think that would be funny. Yeah. Because this is, I enjoy this. It's just got it's got something to it. I mean, escort quests are annoying, but they're not that annoying. They're annoying if you have to like babysit someone and you feel like you're chained to them. And what was I doing? Oh, I was searching for volcanoes. Flash volcano. Is that the only mention of volcanoes? $28. There's an elemental plane of lava, yes. Probably all these are just lava armor, lava mode, lavalier mics, balaclava. Okay. Yeah, this is okay. I think there's probably a balaclava lava pun. Yeah, well, okay. Yes, I was trying to find what source that was, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. Lava mages do get passive heat immunity. I think they have to, because lava, as it turns out, is actually super hot. Not a lot of people know that. And if you get too close to lava, it will burn you before you can get anywhere near touching it. Not how it works in a lot of fiction. In a lot of fiction, people, like, lava only hurts you if it touches you. And also, it doesn't, like, stick to you, and you don't get, like, super bad burns and stuff. Sticks to you is probably... I mean, that's not accurate. That it would stick to you, I don't think. Because it would... I think you'd get what's called the Leidenfrost effect. Which would protect you temporarily from lava, but it's still so hot it would, I think, burn you. Maybe even you wouldn't get the Leidenfrost effect because it'd be too hot for that to, like, actually happen. Okay, follow my own advice and write nature last if it needs to be changed at all. I do like the spin up and spin down thing. Probably have used it before. They're getting to be so many of these. I'm gonna actually check this off as done. What did I say? 331. There's probably key command. Let's call it first pass. Bumbling around. Okay. I don't know why I'm having trouble with this first sentences. I just like this term, flash volcanoes, because especially in the context of the paragraph I took it from, it's the connection to flash flood is there. It sparks something. I like that a lot. I had totally forgotten about it. Which is one of the great things about writing is you can make stuff like specifically for you, and then you find it later and you're like, oh, this is like, that really jives with me personally. Who would have thought? And the other part of it is that you find stuff that doesn't jive with you, and you're like, well, why would I write this? This is dumb. This is, like, dumb as shit. Like, who would make such bad prose and bad ideas and awful characters? I had that a little bit ago. I was reading, like, old blog posts, and I was like, no. 20-year-old me, what were you thinking? Why were you so dumb? Do we call them lava mages? Why would you... Why... Okay, fine. Fine. Just... Lava mages. Okay, so sorry, there's a balaclava. Balaclava. And then there's a baklava, which is a... dessert. Here, I'm just going to add to do more on... No, to do a better name for lava mages. I'm going to put a question mark on that. I think that gives it more character if they're not just called element mages. Ideally something evocative, but or a pun. Well, the base lava mage okay, I rolled for it. I was like, herself, and then I rolled the die, and it came up male again. So I don't... Because I said I was going to do that for the rest of this talk, at least. And I do agree... I was going to say I do agree that, like, a 200-sided dice, you could do NB or trans people or whatever. I mean, if they were trans, you wouldn't mark it within the text. You just say herself or himself, so I guess that it would just be like... There'd be no way to tell. Like, you wouldn't call attention to it. You wouldn't be like, a basic lava mage could spin rocks about himself, and he was trans. That would be funny, just not the right kind of funny for this. It would be a kind of, like, ironic thing. Okay, bring more lava into being. We're going to call this a flow state. No, the most skilled practitioners could... Mag Mage is good. Mag Maulers is terrible in a way I like. What's the difference between magma v lava? Magma is underground. Lava is when it breaks through. Okay. I knew that there was a difference. Mag ballers would call them magazines. Magnificent. Okay, sorry. If I change this, I'm going to change it later. I'm going to do some hand stretches because my hand is bothering me a little bit. I will probably take a break from writing after this for like an hour or two before I get back to dungeons or whatever. And like I said, I did write 10 or 20,000, or sorry, 10 or 12,000 words yesterday, which is, I'm sure Pyrodava has that beat by like, that's like an average day for Pyrodava. But for me, that's a lot. That is not an all-time record. I think my all-time record is 16,000 in a day, which is like continuous typing for you know, at least 12 hours. Don't you? No. They can hear you. Okay. All right. So sorry, that was my wife, who just came in to steal a little bit of my coffee. Magmatism. What is magmatism, though? Oh, we don't call them magma mages. Lava mages. Because that way I can search and replace if I want to. Which I might. I'm probably going to look at some certain things. What is volcanism? Yeah. We're gonna talk. But I was trying to search for the word. Lava mages had a number of. We don't say non-combat. We say civil. Lava mages construction. Yeah. Thank you, Empiricist. Before widespread... civics is the wrong word. A bedrock structural. Yeah. I think I'm going to leave it at widespread steel magic because I don't want people to be like, Bessemer who? What is this? I think Bessemer is mentioned in the stock. I'm not going to search for it right now, but I think Bessemer is mentioned in the stock, but I don't want to. My vision for the exclusions document, right at the moment, have a picture for every entry. Post them like one a day, just like get everything lined up to post them, to post one every day, and just do that for like 70 days. So the exclusions doc will last 2 months. You can talk about it. Some of them are lame, some of them aren't. Maybe, I don't think it's going to generate a huge amount of discussion, especially because the stream, you could just watch them all in streams or whatever. But and then I was going to post them to like the world building subreddit or someplace and see if people are actually interested, and if they're not, just drop that. Got distracted by an email. And I don't want to sand down too much of the rest of the world, but I do want at least a few, at least to start, that are more siloed, that you can read without having read Worth the Candle, and you can think, oh, that's cool, I want to read more of these. I would like a collection of like 10 at the start, that if you don't know anything about Worth the Candle, those are the ones you could read. And then put some more story-based ones at the end, or the ones that are more involved in like different specific aspects to the world that are toward the end. I was thinking of trying to rewrite more generic versions of these. Coffee Quills, hello. Writing is going, I'm gonna say great. I don't feel like fried at all, and I feel like I'm making progress. This already has some words. I think this will be good. This is my second exclusion of the day. Do some, but so I was thinking about like what it would take to rewrite some of these to just be generic things that you could use for D&D. And I think it would take a lot. And I think it would take more than I'm willing to put in unless there was some kind of financial or at least like reputational reward at the end. Because when I start doing that kind of writing that feels like work, that feels like I'm not engaged in the creative process, I'm just engaged in more menial labor aspects of it. Like, I'd love to put out a PDF that was just like, here are some exclusion zones that you can use for your D&D. But a lot of these are so steeped in the Second Empire or First Empire stuff that that would not work without some major alterations. I might try to hire someone to do that. I think I would pay probably not enough, actually. Like, the amount of money I could put toward that, because I don't think I'd get it as a... I don't think I'd get money back if I put out a PDF. So it's like, would I pay someone $200? That's like 10 hours work of like skilled writing work to like try to get it in shape for a PDF to like put out for D&D stuff. Would I get that $200 back? Probably not. And then it's all just like, then like, why am I doing that? I'm doing it because I want to share it. So, or I'm doing it for vanity reasons. I don't know. Sorry, this is a digression. I'm gonna keep doing on this lava thing, but that's one of the things I was thinking about. That I would like a generic version of this to be useful for D&D, because I think a lot of people have interest in that, of having ideas to steal. I like this. This suggests a adventure to me. I'll say there. Because as we know, dwarves are they're not agendered. They have like 5 genders, but they don't map to like human physiological sex. So, and then their genders aren't genders like ours are gender. Or I mean they are, but I don't know. I don't want to get into the dwarf stuff, but I think we are going to use singular they for dwarves for this purpose. I put a date on this as a Second Empire, 254. Okay, bear with me for just a moment. I'm popping open a file. Worth the Candle files are... No. Okay, definitely... This is Vulgar, this is Groglir, which is the language of the dwarves. This is their vowel chart and phoneme chart, and all I'm doing is grabbing a nice name that I think Hagmill. I think Hagmill's a nice name. Means effort. Hegmill, and then I'm going to look at this again. Dwarf names are... We're going to call them Hegmill Firebrand. Dwarf last names are translated by convention. So it's Graquil Leadbraids instead of what his name would actually be, which is whatever. It's probably here somewhere. There's like a huge number of these are all the Groglier words. Groglier is one of the languages that I really tried to make sure if they spoke a sentence that it would make sense under this generated scheme. I don't know how well it reads. My guess is not very well. I had someone be like, oh, you can always tell a vulgar generated language. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like reading this like made up language that you have seen one sentence of, and you're like, oh, you could always tell. You could always tell that like this is not a human language or like a human generated language. It's just it really made me feel like I wanted to test that person, like do some A/B testing. So this is Crosscoast City. This is Vibrant Reef. Can't spell peninsula. Okay, I'm gonna take a short break, go take a bio break, and I will I'll be right back. I'm gonna think about this. Higmill Firebrand. I like Firebrand as a name because a brand is an actual thing. Like we use Firebrand to mean someone who has a lot of like opinions, especially political, but it's also a non-metaphorical thing. Okay, I'll be right back though, and then I'll be thinking about this and figuring out what's good about it. Okay, I'm back. That means that I'll have taken 2 breaks this stream. I'm going to try to keep that in mind when I do my word count and try to figure out whether I was making good progress. I don't like the way that singular they looks all the time. I use it in talking to people online a lot, but you don't usually need to like use it so repeatedly. And I think that here is where I struggle with it. I do think I was thinking about this in Worth the Candle. I think it's one of the flaws of Worth the Candle is that they bring up this gender stuff with Grack, and it never really gets that deeply discussed or resolved. And I feel like if I wasn't going to discuss or resolve it, I should never have introduced it. But I kind of didn't know at the time what I was doing with it. I just thought it was, I don't know. It was just some world building. It was some old world building from a thing, and I was like, yeah, just slap any old world building in there, and then it was one of those places I wish I had done more with it. So, I got a problem here, which is that the what I find interesting, or the what I don't find interesting is the idea that I had, which is that you look at this map, you see Barren Reef here. I like the idea that this is just like an open portal to a plane of lava, and it's been spilling out this way, and this is all new land mass, and it's kind of slowed down because, you know, lots of lava is coming out, but it's not coming out that fast. And eventually, like, if you wait 100 years, the barrier of it would be, like, out to here or something. Or less than that. Like, it's growing. Eventually, it's going to reach Crossco City, or Crosso City. It's gonna bridge this gap here. It's gonna change the landscape. That's actually like hugely destructive to do this geoengineering stuff. The problem is my first thought was this can just get out of control. Like it needs an immense amount of lava. He tries to get an immense amount of lava. He ends up opening a permanent portal to the plane of lava and getting the magic excluded and dying in the process. And now no one, etc. That's not an interesting way for this exclusion to happen, though. I think I'm just going to do it, and if I come up with something better, come back to it, but it's not that interesting. Okay, no, we're gonna do star magic. Oh, God. Yeah, there's also, like, writing they for people is not, not automatic for me in this case. It's automatic online, because I conditioned myself for it, because singular they is way, way easier than trying to remember anyone's gender, which I don't like to do. I don't like to, like, try to figure it out from usernames or whatever, but it's definitely not automatic for me in writing, because I normally know gender, and I'm not sure I've ever, except for Grack, I don't think I've ever wrote a character who used, like, non-standard pronouns, and Grack doesn't, because that's just not really the dwarf. As conceived, it was not the dwarf way of doing things. It's one of the things I'd probably do different now. Say 2 years. 2 years, 2 years? Yeah, okay, 2 years. Okay. Oops. I don't think I'm including the thing about that. And we call this BREZ. always call elemental. Because to distinguish them from non-elemental planes. Okay, we do call this major. I think as stated, maybe it's... Yeah, I was going to include monsters. In theory, all the elemental planes have their own life forms and stuff. That's true of the elemental plane of blood, and it should. So, not going to get into it here, but just for you if you're watching the stream, elemental planes have different regions with interesting variations between zones and some texture to geography. Have monsters. Have connections to in each other. These are the things that make an elemental plane interesting. And for any of these exclusion zones that link in, I do want there to be some of that. I guess monsters should go here. I was thinking of doing them later, but yeah, I like the idea of maybe not a mile wide because I think that would be too much. Okay, so oh, here I'm gonna do the drawing tool. So 500 miles right there. Those look maybe roughly the same to me. So this is like 500 miles. You can see that it's spewed like northwest, kind of. Bacon Time, if you are listening, I don't know if that was intentional on your part, but I do I do. This works out conveniently for what I'm thinking. Um, nice. I really do like having that map because and it constrains in certain ways, but it also it so far has not been constraining in a negative way. It's been constraining in a positive way. Um, I don't know if we're doing the puns. There's a limit to how far I'm willing to stretch for a pun. um, I was thinking like a lava mask. I don't know about that though. Um, we're gonna say 500 miles. I don't know if it's actually 500 miles. That's like really here. I'm gonna get Okay, 500. This dice against my screen is 500 kilometers. We're going to say that's approximately 500 kilometers, which is how much in miles? $310. Quantities of lava. I think we're not doing the Mountain Doom thing. I think that was one of those things that I put in my list, and then I was like, no, I don't like doing that. I think that this is enough. This is 254. I'm going to put that in real quick while I remember. Date is 254. And put in its name, which is Barren Reef. Ah, shoot. I could have done a barren pun. I still could. There would be natural slowdown. I can just include that, but that's almost a given. I think that this is enough for this entry. I don't think that we need Uther and a Lava Mage. I don't think I'm doing puns. Like, does Uther and a Lava Mage get us? It's interesting. That's what gets us. But I don't. I feel like this is here. I'm gonna do a word count on this, and I will see if I think it's long enough. I think a note would also be a good place for a pun. $780, so that's like 800 words. That's how long I want an average entry to be. I'm going to leave stuff on the table. I'm going to leave it to do for myself in case I feel like it needs something more. I kind of like this one. It's simple, but it's got something to it. Okay, and I'm going to, I think that means this has been roughly 2,000 words. That's enough writing time for this today. It's a little shy of 2,000 words. So yeah, I'm going to be, that is a good idea. Like that there's like, some kind of, I don't know. I like the idea that there's like life on the far end of it, because like the lava takes a long time to. Even like super hot lava can't flow like 300 miles very easily. I actually okay. I don't know if I'm actually gonna do this, but I'm gonna do. I'm not actually going to do that. Don't put it to do in if you know you're not going to do it. Okay, so I'm going to say I'm done with this. I'm going to say that is a fine exclusion. It is not. It is not. It doesn't break new ground, but whatever. Gonna reorder this by date, so that oh, look at this nice red field. So much done. Next time I'm gonna force myself to do force magic. Get it? Okay, sorry. I think we're gonna do the religious sect there, because that's a nice Star Wars tie-in. I gotta think about these before I do them. It is not in person. We'll do that one as a religious sect, because the Star Wars things. Okay, I am gonna go right now, and what are the things I want if I'm doing it, like vaguely Star Wars themes? There's probably more there. That's everything that immediately came to mind. At what felt like was very fast typing. I don't know why that felt like so fast. Okay, and then the other one we're doing. Magic with multiple parts. I think... I mean, I think you're right. Why is that not You forgot the Winchester Mystery House. I think possibly domestic, because I was talking about it earlier, and if you talk about something, you get ideas in your head, and then you need to write down those ideas. This is one of the things I was thinking about. Infinite variety, echoes of... Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna be done streaming. I almost feel like I could do another of these. I need to, like, not do that, though. I need to stretch my hand again, because I wrote, again, just an absolute ton yesterday. I will be streaming again tomorrow, same time, same place, or roughly same time. I sometimes get up late, especially on Friday when I do not have to post a chapter of anything to anyone. And thanks for joining in, especially for a longer stream. Oh, I was going to look at stats. Look at these stats. Everything here is first pass. Yes, Felsi, we're not doing you. All right, just... What is this, 20 24 of these left. That's, in theory, 2 weeks. In practice, it's probably 3 weeks. Actually, in practice, it might be as many as 4 weeks. 4 weeks is the upper bound. If I stream if I stream 6 days a week, to do 24 would be 4 weeks, yeah. If I can do 2 a stream, that'd be 2 weeks. So 2 weeks is lower bound, 4 weeks is an upper bound. And then we need images for all of these. I'm actually going to go do some image generation right now. I do that on the Discord in the Bot EZ channel, usually, but then if I see one that I like, I will place it there. So we just need Lava Magic, and we need Baron Jewel. I think Baron Jewel is going to be a city in the desert. I feel like I got a picture that I liked for the Datura Desert, but I didn't like it that much. I feel like it felt kind of bland, like just having a Thom Seeker across the desert felt a little bland. But I'll go do the image generations now and see if I can get something that I like. Okay, thanks for tuning in. See you next time.